He's eloquent, intelligent, and outrageous. Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 David Mitchell moments.
Before we begin, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe for more great content.
Best known for Peep Show and Would I Lie to You, David Mitchell is one of the UK's favourite comedians, having cultivated ranting into a quintessential art form. So, for this list, we're focusing on Mitchell's most memorable moments from sitcoms, panel shows, sketch shows, and other TV appearances. Let's get ready for kickoff.
I can't get the fog to clear.
Number 10, Are We The Baddies? That Mitchell and Webb look.
The badges on our caps.
In this two-part sketch, Mitchell plays a Nazi officer plunged into self-doubt by a certain unsightly detail on his uniform.
Have you noticed that our caps have actually got little pictures of skulls on them?
His long-standing partner, Robert Webb, initially resists, but Mitchell's having none of it, persisting with his point and mounting an irrefutable argument, until Webb re-evaluates his position.
Are we the baddies?
As the opening scene in the first episode of that Mitchell and Webb look, it's one of the Double Act's most famous sketches, and one of their best.
I really can't think of anything worse as a symbol than a skull.
Number 9, Poke the Russians, Mock the Weak. Mitchell was a regular on the first 7 series of this show, and here's one of his most memorable moments.
And there's a division in American politics about whether it is good to be as rude as possible to the nutty Russians, or bad to be as rude as possible to those maniacs.
David's in full current affairs flow as he argues against support for Vladimir Putin.
They think, yes, we want to vote for him. Oh, by the way, apparently he tortured people when he was in the KGB. What a guy.
Framing his rant around tense US relations with Iran, Mitchell suggests that American attempts at diplomacy are largely designed to tick off Russia. Even David recognizes the dangers in provoking the enemy, though.
Shall we have a bit of fun? Poke the Russians, poke the Russians. Oh my God, they're coming.
Mitchell for Foreign Secretary, anyone? Stranger things have happened. Number 8, Love and Marriage, The Jonathan Ross Show. Though Mitchell mostly uses this 2012 chat show appearance to plug his autobiography backstory, the interview is also remembered for how open and honest the comic reveals himself to be, especially when speaking about his then fiancée, Victoria Corrin.
Just sort of literally fall in love within about, certainly within about 20 minutes.
Giving a brief but brilliant glimpse of the personality of the guy behind the gags, David's story has a genuinely happy ending.
Yeah, then she went out with someone else for about 3 years, which was a bit of a hitch.
And then he plays some table tennis. Number 7, Dear America, David Mitchell's soapbox.
Everyone in Britain knows the Queen, and she's asked me to have a quick word with you on her behalf.
In this short web series monologue, Mitchell takes Americans to task over their command of the Queen's English, taking particular offence at the misuse of certain phrases.
I could care less is absolutely useless as an indicator of how much you care, because the only thing it rules out is that you don't care at all, which is exactly what you're trying to convey.
And as he becomes more animated, David employs an elaborate and tongue-twisting graph to help him illustrate his point.
I could care anything from here to here.
The whole thing is Mitchell at his agitated best, working himself into a froth over topics that most others would probably consider quite trivial. He's definitely got a point though.
Not hold down the fort. If I ask you to hold the fort, the metaphor I'm employing is perfectly clear.
Number 6, David's doorknob, Would I Lie to You? Mitchell's an ever-present team captain on this popular panel show, and here he claims that his bedroom door is handleless, providing an eternal source of apparent frustration.
I've had to prise open my bedroom door for the last 2 years, ever since the door handle fell off.
And when he's asked if anyone else is inconvenienced by this, David responds with typically self-deprecating wit.
I'm absolutely the only person who ever needs to get in or out.
Since Mitchell spends most of his time playing the role of the posh intellectual, it's unsurprising that Lee Mack's team thinks he's lying. But are they correct?
David Mitchell, were you telling the truth or were you telling a lie?
It is in fact true.
Number 5, Sherlock Holmes, That Mitchell and Webb Look. In the very last sketch of the series, Mitchell plays the genius detective, struggling with dementia in a nursing home.
Where's my slipper?
Is it on your foot?
Yes.
Treading the line between humour and pathos as it becomes clear that Holmes' illness is no laughing matter, it's a phenomenal example of how heartbreaking comedy can be. With Webb's Watson trying to help his muddled friend, and Mitchell's character experiencing a fleeting and poignant moments of clarity, this performance proves Mitchell's not just a great comedian, but also a great actor.
I know, John. I do know.
Number 4, World War I, QI. As all David Mitchell fans know, this guy really loves his history, but he gets the dreaded QI klaxon when talking World War I with Stephen Fry.
It's going to be some point after 1939, isn't it?
The panel are debating the naming of World War I, when Mitchell gives the obvious answer and tries to argue his way out of it, only to make matters worse.
They contain 1939, but does not mean it.
No, well...
He concedes defeat eventually, and does so with admirable good grace.
Why don't you just type, Mitchell is a cop?
Number 3, Seasonal Beatings, Peep Show. Even Mitchell himself says that this is one of his favourite Peep Show moments, and who are we to disagree?
Let's crank up Classic FM. Let's get our Christmas on.
To set the scene, it's Christmas morning and Mark's on dinner duty, only Jez appears to have forgotten a key ingredient. Cue Mark's colossal overreaction.
No turkey? You f***ing idiot, Jeremy!
According to David, his wife can't watch this scene because Mark's just too cruel in it. And you have to feel for Jez. If you can't make a joke on Christmas Day, then when can you make one?
It was a joke, Mark. I was joking. It was a Christmas joke.
Number 2, taking down the tax system, the last leg. Tax rarely seems a particularly funny topic, but Mitchell makes it work in this interview for Channel 4's The Last Leg.
Would you pay 1% tax if you could get away with it?
Well, I certainly wouldn't say I would.
Beginning with an ice cream-based metaphor, he quickly explains an interesting perspective on the inherent flaws in taxation rules.
Then you've got the vanilla stuff he was doing, moving all the way through to Gary Barlow's sort of evil flavoured.
And this is one rant you won't want to miss. Once again, Mitchell shows there's more to his game than just punchline comedy, concluding his arguments with characteristic eloquence.
And that is the most bonkers system that we could possibly have come across.
Number 1, Mark's voicemail, Peep Show. We finish with an early episode of Peep Show, and probably the scene which sums up Mark best of all.
Sophie, if you heard that, please ignore it. I'm not a racist. Far from it.
A socially awkward chap faced with phoning the female work colleague he fancies, Mitchell's character reaches voicemail and proceeds to painfully embarrass himself, all while Jez looks on with increasing horror. Of course, there's not much Jeremy can do once Mark's in full flow. The song at the end offers a cringy crescendo to an unforgettable sitcom moment.
Then I go and spoil it all by saying something stupid like, I like you.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from Watch Mojo UK and subscribe for more great content.